Greenfield Community Television presents a COVID-19 update from Greenfield's Mayor, Roxann Wedegartner.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon, and again, my apologies for the dreary Friday afternoon wet press conference. Before I get started, I want to acknowledge that the coronavirus has actually brought death to our doorsteps right here in Greenfield. I want to offer my condolences to those families who have experienced this. You didn't ask for it. You didn't deserve it, but here it is, and I am deeply sorry. We hold you in our hearts and our minds. Thank yous are due all the way around. As I manage through these challenging times, I am inspired and awed by the level of care and assistance that is being provided by city staff, our residents, our businesses, and many, many others. And I especially want to thank the team behind me and everyone who's working at the EOC. They've been doing terrific work since we opened about 3 weeks ago now almost. And to all the people on the front lines who are fighting this virus, our first responders, our healthcare workers, our police officers, our firefighters, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your hard work. You're there for us, and we really, really appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Superintendent Jordana Harper, who I've had the pleasure of working with through this. I wouldn't say pleasure is the right word. Had the experience of working with through this, and her team, as well as the teaching staff and the food service staff for all the work they're doing to feed our children and during this very difficult period, and to get the schools up and running as much as they possibly can and get as many kids as they possibly can online to continue their education. And I wish them well in that effort. It's been very challenging. We've also joined forces with the Franklin Regional Council of Governments in order to provide a unified front and resources to help prepare the other communities in Franklin County. And so thank you as well for COG for providing your help, your assistance, and your many resources. We're especially grateful for the $17,000 plus grant that you gave to us to assist us in building up our healthcare ops team here at the EOC. They've been doing really monumental work tracking potential cases and people who may or may not have been exposed and so forth. Many, many things. To every resident of Greenfield, there's no question this has been a major disruption to all of our lives, and we have had to ask you to make many sacrifices. We know that. We honor your spirit and your commitment. It really warms my heart. I don't want to miss anything. I've got several updates here. So there have been a number of updates this week with regard to the city's ongoing response to COVID-19, and so I'll try to hit a few of those. So I'll give you the latest positive cases update, but before I do that, I also want to acknowledge that while I'm giving you numbers, each one of those numbers represents a person who's either sick or presumed to be sick. In this case, I'm giving you confirmed numbers. So as of today, there are 46 positive coronavirus cases within the city. That's up from yesterday's total of confirmed of 25, which is pretty much on target for what we said in terms of doubling on a fairly regular basis. We will be updating and publishing these numbers approximately on a daily basis. That's kind of a weird way to put that, but I say approximately because, and we'll be publishing it on the COVID-19 information and resources page on our website, on the city website. But we will only provide you updates when we know we have additional confirmed positive numbers for you. So if the number doesn't change from day to day, that's really the goal eventually. We will not update you till we know we have confirmed numbers. That's only thing we want to deal in is confirmed positive at the moment. As far as building closures go, I think this has been made known widely, but I'll repeat it. Will be closed until May 4th, 2020. That means all municipal buildings will continue to be closed to the public. But the city remains steadfast in its efforts to continue to provide essential city services during this time. And to the extent possible, we are starting to and have made available online many ways to help facilitate the business of City Hall. I think most recently we put the made it so that you could purchase your paper throw trash stickers online and have them mailed to you. As far as the information line goes, from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, the city's COVID-19 community information line has been providing one-stop shopping, so to speak. Resource. We don't do your shopping for you. For all your questions and concerns during this really challenging time. I'm going to give you that number again, 413-775-6411. We've had 117 calls to date. That was as of some point in the early afternoon. It's probably been more. That's up from 73 on the 30th. So people are calling. Some of the calls are around how to prevent that COVID-19, people asking for elder services, people wanting to know things about the city of Greenfield, how we're responding. On the PPE distribution update, the staff at EOC has been working dutifully to ensure acquisition and distribution of precious personal protective equipment to pertinent city stakeholders, to nursing homes, to local and regional law enforcement, fire and emergency personnel. I'm proud to say we've been ahead of the curve on this front. Just a rundown of some of the things that we've managed to get and then put out there. 29 tubs of sanitizing wipes, 380 bottles of hand sanitizer, 3 gallons of sanitizer refill, 29 boxes of gloves, 3,825 individual procedural masks, 415 N95 masks, 197 pieces of eye protection, 23 lab coats, and 37 Tyvek suits. It's really been my privilege to lead this dynamic team of dedicated people who are working tirelessly to ensure that our city remains as prepared as possible to confront the pandemic. I want to thank all of you for being here again and for your time and attention. And just repeat again, stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, practice physical distancing whenever possible. Together, I know we can all contribute to flattening the curve if we do this. Every show you watch on TV that's dealing with the coronavirus, every expert says stay at home as much as possible. We're a resourceful city here in Greenfield. I know that. I believe that. And there's nothing that we won't be able to overcome together. So if I haven't given you all the answers and you have some questions, I'll take a few questions and be happy to answer, or have one of my team members answer if I don't know the answer. Samantha.
I have a question about the tents being set up on Wells Street for people in need of shelter.
Right, so her question was, what about the tents being set up on Wells Street to provide shelter for homeless people? So the tents are, the ServiceNet has been working to find a solution and to help also the warming center, but not, and help themselves, but also the warming center. So the tents have been ordered through and set up by MEMA, so Mass Emergency Management Association. And they're there in case we need them. ServiceNet is working on the second floor meaning preparing the second floor. I think you probably remember back a couple of years when we had the encampment, and during the winter, the following winter, when we were trying to figure out how best to help the homeless people and bring them to shelter. That floor was not usable at the time, but now they're being able to make it usable. So the first line of defense will be to use that for overflow as much as possible. And if they have to go into the tents, then they'll cross that bridge when they come to it.
Is there any thought, Mayor, of doing what Northampton did and opening the high school if you need to have a larger shelter for people to be able to safely social distance?
Not at this time. The middle school is actually our emergency management shelter if and when we need it in extreme circumstances. So.
I've heard that some of the people who are living in the rocks are afraid if they go to the tents, they won't be allowed to leave. What would you say to them?
Well, I honestly, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I understand the difficulties with the population, and my heart goes out to ServiceNet and all the people that work with them and want to care for them so much. I would just try to urge them to come in. It's there for your protection. It's there for the protection of all of the people in Greenfield. So it's not permanent. It's not intended to be permanent, but it's intended to help during this event.
Mayor, what's the status of the first responders? We heard some mention that there were some first responders that had to be quarantined. Are we in a situation now where we have enough people to do what has to be done?
Well, I believe so, but I'm not the expert in that one. You want to answer? I'll let the chief answer. For both chiefs.
The question was about the first responders in quarantine. Our numbers have dropped by a couple. Two members in my department that were isolated have been cleared to return to work, and we're still waiting results of the few others that are out. I believe it's 3 or 4 left.
How is the morale of the first responders right now in this situation?
Yeah, so the morale is, I think, like the morale of the rest of the city. I think they're concerned over the virus, but they're ready to do their job. I have tried to stop in every morning to see the firefighters, and everybody has been upbeat and positive, but obviously there's concerns out there. We are giving them the tools and the training on a daily basis too, so that they can respond to emergencies properly. And they're doing a great job, and we're doing our best to keep that morale pretty high.
Mayor, in terms of operating a functioning government, you released your budget to the city council today. Any thoughts on the scheduling of town meeting, budget meetings? Are those going to happen? How's it going to work?
Well, that's not my responsibility, thank God. It's one thing I don't have to do. You'll have to talk to Otis Wheeler about that. He's chair of Ways and Means, or Ashley Stemple, the president of the council. I know that the mayor is presenting the executive office's budget portion to Ways and Means next Thursday, And they are doing all meetings so far successively every Thursday thereafter, different departments each Thursday. And they're all, right now, over the web, WebEx. So we'll see how that goes. But, and GCTV is also going to cover them.
Can I ask one more question about the number of cases? You mentioned 46 cases confirmed.
Yeah,
Are those broken down in terms of nursing home residents or not?
no, actually,
They're not
yeah,
citywide.
they're citywide, yeah.
And how often will those numbers be updated in terms of from the state? Weekly, daily?
Well, that's can you,
From the state.
yeah, can you give either you, Danny, or Jen? It's supposedly daily, but those are not necessarily that day's numbers. There's a lag.
Yeah, so we're doing the daily count is based on the information we get from our morning briefing here at 9 a.m. And if that number changes, we'll update that on the website immediately. And then we're also watching the changes in Franklin County overall, since we're working with FERCog and others now. And that's updated every day at 4 p.m., approximately 4 p.m. on the mass.gov website. So that's been helpful for us to see the comparison. So hopefully every day, maybe not weekends, maybe weekends, not sure yet.
The delegations indicated that the stimulus money is going to be coming in relatively soon. Can business owners in Greenfield get an idea of when they can apply for loans or financial remediation from the state and federal governments?
I don't know about how soon. I know that I've talked to one or two of the businesses owners that need to do that, and they are knee deep in paperwork right now. So I know that on the national scene, they are attempting to tell us that it's going to happen any day now, but I don't know that I have any confirmation of that. I think MJ Adams is a good resource, although I don't think MJ is out here. She has her finger on that pulse. So
I can also say something about
Yeah.
that. So every time we get updates on the legislation that can be helpful to Greenfield citizens, we're reading it as fast as we can too, which is
Yeah.
hard, and synthesizing it as best we can, and then making sure the folks at the hotline have that information. And then we're also, seeing how it applies to city employees and making sure that gets put out, but we're learning it as we go as well. So hopefully the CARES Act with the assistance to small businesses, and then there's the unemployment for folks who are in non-traditional employment situations. I think there's still the lag between the state. They haven't gotten the guidance on how to administer that money yet. But my understanding is that people can still call the local career center to get information on that if they can't seem to get their answers on the website. So that's been helpful to tell people.
right, I did ask because we have so many of those workers here in various fields, not just software development and so forth, but what they call the gig economy. My husband thinks it's funny that he would never call himself part of the gig economy because he's been doing that gig for 30 years now. But he's applied as well. That's for people who have 1099s, and it's coming from the federal government. But he's in the queue, but it's probably one of the last ones. I did ask MJ about that today because they're really trying to take care of those people that actually are capable of getting unemployment, as well as the businesses who employ more than whatever the number is. People, I forget what it is off the top of my head. So that's kind of the priority that, as far as I understand, the feds have put it through. Anybody else have a question?
I have one more on testing. Have you heard anything about the possibility of the city setting up testing for COVID-19 at this point or not?
Wow, I might defer to the health people, but I'm here for every briefing, and we have not heard anything.
shaking their heads.
And they're all
Okay.
shaking their heads.
That's all I have.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you again, and have a good weekend. As best you can. Bye.
Greenfield Greenfield Community Television thanks you for watching this COVID-19 update from Greenfield's Mayor, Roxann Wedegartner.